DJI have just released the MAVIC AIR, a mid-range drone between the Spark and the MAVIC Pro. Can I afford one? No. If I could, do I want one? Would I buy one? Oh yeah, I would. If I had the money, would I buy the MAVIC Pro? No, not now. It's a mid-range drone. It sits between the Spark and the MAVIC Pro. The Spark is 629 combo pack. The Air is 949 as a combo. And the MAVIC Pro is 1399 or 1499 depending if you get the Platinum as a combo. And there's a massive difference in price. The Spark is a 1080 non-4K camera and a 2-axis gimbal. MAVIC Air is 4K 3-axis gimbal. The Pro is 4K 3-axis gimbal. The MAVIC Air, as you've seen all over the internet and everyone's showing it at the moment, has a much smaller footprint than even the Spark. When it's folded up, it's a tiny little drone. So it has the features and the quality, in fact slightly better video quality in the 1080 format especially, than the MAVIC Pro. So it's about £500 less. Why would you buy the MAVIC Pro anymore? MAVIC Pro seems a bit pointless now. I can't see that DJI didn't think of this. They must have known that. The price, if you've watched the price on the MAVIC Pro over the Christmas period, the MAVIC Pro initially dipped in price. So before Christmas and around a few weeks after Christmas, the price dipped quite low. It was about, at one point you could get £300 off of the combo pack. But that's suddenly shot back up again. So all the retailers have suddenly gone back up to its original $13.99 and $14.99 price band. With the new model coming out, there aren't going to be that many people who want to buy the old model, so they'll price it higher just to see what happens, see if they can get any more money out of it. The other odd and strange thing about the release of the MAVIC Air is that they didn't do it at the CES Las Vegas show. They waited until after CES to release it. Now, I watched a YouTube video that explained about the DJI stand at CES, and they went for all of their range of their Spark, MAVIC, MAVIC Pro, DJI Phantom 4, Phantom 4 Obsidian, all of those, and they made no mention at all of the Air. The Air was prime for release at CES, yet they waited. I think that again is to sort of show that they're not so sure themselves. They think that the MAVIC Air will make the MAVIC Pro and the MAVIC Pro Platinum completely obsolete. And I'm pretty sure that they know that.
Game over, man. It's game over.
What do you get if you buy a MAVIC Pro over the MAVIC Air? Well, as I said, you're paying about £400, £500 more. The only thing you get is about 6 minutes of extra flying time and a little display on your controller. Now, the display on the controller has always seemed a bit of a gimmick and a bit pointless. You don't need it. You use the app. The app's a fantastic app. The DJI app's brilliant. They do everything you want, and you're looking at your phone. You're not going to look at the controller and this little display on the controller. They didn't put it onto the Spark when the Spark come out. The new MAVIC Air doesn't have it, and neither of the drones previously. This is a controller for the Phantom 3, Phantom 4, and even the Inspire. You all use the same controller. There's no display on this. You don't need that. That's what your phone's for, or your iPad. Mini iPad. Everything I need to know is on here. Why would you buy a MAVIC Pro now? The MAVIC Pro is now in that in-between stage that they're going to bring out a MAVIC Pro 2 at some point, and they're also going to bring out a DJI Phantom 5 at some point. They will be very soon. You can't afford it and you don't need 4K quality, then the Spark, still a fantastic little drone. Again, that dipped in price, has gone back up again, so the MAVIC Air looks like a fantastic drone, and I think that's going to be the consumer drone going forward until they bring out the MAVIC Pro 2. What they'll have to do on the MAVIC Pro 2, I imagine the thing will be putting in a much higher quality camera. Instead of 12 megapixels, I imagine they would jump it up to 16 to 20. Panasonic have also released recently the GH5S mirrorless camera. It's to run alongside the GH5. Can I afford one? Nope. No way. It's £2,200. Would I buy one if I could afford one? Nope. No way. No. I don't understand why they've done it. Again, it's a unusual piece of kit to release. And the reason for that is simple, that most GH5 users are vloggers. They use it for YouTube. A lot of people you'll see on YouTube and on YouTube channels will shoot on the GH5. It's fantastic 4K quality. It's roughly retailing for about 1,500 at the moment. A lot of people, as you say, use it on YouTube. I use a G5 because I can't afford the GH5 and I don't need the 4K quality. But I still like the camera. It's a fantastic camera. Why the GH5S has come out, they've increased the still shot capability and they've increased some of the 4K quality. But then they've made it not usable for anybody. They've taken out the image stabilizer. For me, that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If you're going to YouTube or you're going to do any sort of filming, you're going to want an image stabilizer built into the camera. That's a given, you know. Now, if you're going to film with a gimbal, then fine. DJI have just released a new running gimbal for the SLR cameras, but you'd rather have it built into the camera. It's why do you need to buy an extra gimbal for it? Especially when you're paying that much more money for the camera. Even as a still photographer, why you'd want a camera that hasn't got some sort of image stabilizer built into it? Because you need to use it on a tripod everywhere. Now, okay, landscape photographers tend to take a tripod with them anyway, but handheld, you don't want to be having to faff about with trying to get the image in focus because you haven't got an image stabilizer. Panasonic don't make any image stabilized lenses. The image stabilizers on Panasonics are in the camera, not in the lens. So the lenses, very nice small lenses, but they're not image stabilized. Why take it off? You could buy, for the same price, a very, very good full frame camera. Nikon, Pentax, Canon, Fuji. There's a few of the full size full frame cameras at that price band for just body only. GH5S is £2,200 without lens. That's body only. And it's a mirrorless camera. Mirrorless cameras aren't the best cameras for stills. The battery life on all mirrorless cameras is shocking. They're terrible for battery life. I have to use 3 batteries with this camera. And anybody will tell you, any mirrorless camera, they're all the same. They won't last as long as a standard digital SLR. If you're going to buy one for vlogging, you'd buy the GH5, or you'd buy a different brand. Panasonic seems to be an in-between camera again. It's one of these products that they've made it, but they're thinking maybe that this is going to sit in between and there'll be a future. A GH6, GH7, something along those lines. This is sitting there until that comes along. They've tried, let's try and remove an image stabilizer, save a bit of money, see if anyone takes to it. It's really a bit pointless for definitely for YouTubers, and most definitely I think for a lot of still photographers. Professional camcorders are cheaper than the GH5S. Definitely wouldn't be one for me. I can't see many people that would want it. There's been a lot of promotion around it, a lot of videos, a lot of stuff on YouTube. A lot of people, yay, it's brilliant. Why? Who's going to buy this thing? It doesn't make any sense to me. Apple have finally released, after Christmas, the iMac Pro. We've all been waiting for it. We've all seen all the spec on it. I'm a die-hard Apple lover. I've had Apple Macs since the early 90s, and I've never had anything different, and I probably never will have anything different. I thought, iMac Pro looks fantastic. Can I afford one? Hell no. No. If I could afford one, would I buy one? No, absolutely not. No way. No, don't be silly. Have you seen how much it is? The headline spec model is about £13,000.
Great Scott!
I can't get my head around that. £13,000 for an iMac. It's non-expandable. There's no expensive software bundle in that pack. You get the same pack of software as you get in an iMac Air for £700. Okay, $1,299 is the most expensive headline spec. So most people aren't going to spend that. It starts at £5,000. But at £5,000, it's not much of a spec at all for anybody. So if you want it, you're going to need somewhere in between. So you're going to spend about £9,000 on it. Now £9,000 will get you a super processor, 18 cores, great hard drive, but only 32 gigabytes of RAM. So if you run out of RAM, 32 gigs is a lot of RAM. But you run a powerful machine like that, you're going to expect it to do an awful lot. You're going to expect it to be incredibly powerful, and you're going to run a lot of software at once. And if you're going to do that, you may run out of RAM. If you run out of RAM, you're throwing the thing away. You can't expand it. It's a sealed unit. I don't get why they've done this. They've made this machine for business users. People that can have a budget that doesn't have a lend limit. So somebody can buy the machine, get the top spec they want, and in a year's time, new budget comes out, they just throw it away. You buy a standard iMac, you can upgrade it. You buy a Windows PC, you can upgrade that. You can build a Windows PC. You can build an incredibly powerful Windows PC and keep adding to it, keep building on it, keep growing it, and keep getting faster, 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 and more powerful. Is there anything I could do on a Mac that I can't do on a PC? Nowadays, no. Years ago, yeah, that's why I've had Macs since the 90s, because I've always had software and the stuff that I want to do on a Mac, I couldn't do on a PC. And I love the way the Mac works. I still do that, and I still want Macs. I'm still going to keep it with a Mac. But I could do everything I do on a Mac with a PC. So could everybody else. It may not always be the same software. You can't run, say, Final Cut on a PC or Logic Pro. So, well, you use Avid software, Premiere. There's plenty of other software out there, which is probably more commonly used now than it is on the Mac. So, realistically, this is a very, very expensive machine that has a very limited use. Yes, the headline spec's fantastic for the company, but again, it's one of those machines that Apple haven't really designed this for anyone in specific other than people that can afford to throw it away. If you went down the middle route, middle spec, and bought an iMac Pro, if you stop to think, you think, hang on, I could buy the top spec. I can get iMac, biggest screen, best processor, best RAM, which is expandable. I can grow on it later, and everything else. And a MacBook Pro at the best spec, with the touch bar, bigger screen, i7 processor, the lot. Still cheaper than buying an iMac Pro. You can expand it. You're not going to have to throw them both away in a year's time or 2 years' time. You can grow with them. They will grow with you. Your MacBook Pro, you take out with you. You've got something you can portable, you can take with you. You've spent less than buying an iMac Pro, and you've got 2 units, super fast, super powerful. They will do enough for what you want them to do. I don't get it. I really don't. If I had the money, I would not buy an iMac Pro. It seems absolutely pointless. I can't see how any normal consumer would have any need for it and can justify using one and spending that much money on something that just isn't going to last. I don't get it.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think McFly, think.
Apple started doing it with the phones. They made the phones super expensive because they knew people would buy them. iPhone 10. Everybody buys it because they're Apple users. It's not as good as the Google Pixel. It doesn't do as much as the Samsung. It's, you know, it's an in-between thing. No, they didn't used to do that with their home computers. They're now starting to do that. This is the iMac Pro a vision of the future, that Apple are going to suddenly bring these machines out that need changing regularly because you can't do anything with them?
Excuse me. Yes, Alan. Given the prices that we charge to students and schools, what sort of improvements have been made in Flynn, NCOM OS 12?
Now this year we put a 12 on the box.
I don't know. I hope they don't, because I really like Apple and I want them to stay there for the consumer, not for their own pockets.